Well, good afternoon. I have a little bit past 4 o'clock on my phone, so it's time to open up our meeting. Please note that this meeting is being videotaped and will be on our YouTube channel. So good afternoon, welcome. Yes, I have regrets from committee member Peg Sheik. Other than that, all of our committee is here today. And is there any, I'll ask our Secretary Treasurer Larry Wheeler, if there are any deferral withdrawals from the matters before the committee?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. No, there is no deferrals. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd ask all committee members if anyone has any declaration of pecuniary interest. No, and none from me. So that leaves us into our agenda item number 3, our previous meeting. We have minutes before us from our October the 11th meeting. If I could have a mover by Stanners, second by Boomerang. So I have a recommendation that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment hearing held on October the 11th, 2023 be confirmed as circulated in the agenda. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions? Okay. Calling the question, all those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. Are there any matters arising from the minutes? No. Perfect. That leaves us to our application that's before us. I'd just like to read off and let everyone know that each hearing of the Committee of Adjustment is based on all the information that is provided to us, and the committee shall make the decision based on 4 tests, and no precedent shall be made. So that leaves us to our hearing number A 2023-13. The location of the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 3, Concession 14, Maryborough, Part 1 and 2, 60R2866, and is municipally known as 8614 Wellington Road 7. So the purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief for the interior side yard setback for an accessory structure. The variance requested is to allow an interior side yard setback of 1.2 meters or 3.9 feet, whereas the minimum setback is 3 meters or 9.8 feet. The applicant is proposing to construct a 162.9 square meter or 1,754 square foot detached garage. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'll call upon our Secretary Treasurer Larry Wheeler regarding notifications, comments received to date.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm that property owners and agencies were provided with the required notice on November 17th. There were no concerns expressed by township staff. Proper postings were completed on November 20th. There's reports from the County of Wellington planners in the agenda package. No concerns received from agencies and no ratepayer comments received prior to publishing of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. So that leads us to our township planner comments, and we'll ask Linda Redmond for her comments at this time.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear that okay? Just slide over here a bit more. It's there we go. So this is a existing vacant parcel. It's been there a number of years. The zoning bylaw does permit the construction of a residential use on existing vacant parcels in the Prime Egg area. And the applicants are proposing to construct a residence and a detached garage on the property. And the detached garage, they're asking for a reduced setback to the interior side yard from the 3 meter requirement to 1.2. This property is surrounded by larger farm parcels. There are no buildings close to where this is being constructed. So from a land use perspective, there isn't a huge impact to have this accessory structure a little bit closer to the property line than what's allowed. And we really have no concerns with it.
Thank you. So at this time, I'll ask, do the owners, Daryl and Pauline Fry, would you wish to speak, or the applicant, Mr. Brubaker? Would you like to speak to it? If so, then just come to the podium there and you'll have to press the red button if you want to introduce yourself.
So hi, everyone. I'm Daryl Fry. I'm the owner of the property. So I was involved with the application that Lester Brubaker had sent in. So I'm sure you had seen what the shape of the property is. It's sort of irregular. So first, when we looked at it, we were thinking of perhaps doing something like a lot line adjustment to try and get a little more usable acreage. Because of the irregular shape, it's sort of restricted where we can put our buildings and how much we had left between the buildings and such. But then we looked at it again and thought, well, you know what, we'll try and keep the agricultural land where it is as agricultural land and see if we can make it work. And then when we were doing the design of the building, Lester Brubaker had suggested that we could perhaps apply for a minor variance to have a little more room between the detached garage and the main house, just give us a little more yard area. So that's the basis of our application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else attending who would like to speak to it? Okay, at this time, I'll call upon our committee members if they have any questions for the owner applicant or from our planner. I'll start to my far left, Mr. Member Doomering, if you have anything.
Thanks, Chair. I don't have a lot of concern with it. I do wonder why it just couldn't be moved over just to keep within the guidelines, and that would give yourself a little bit more room behind the shed for cutting grass or just whatever. If I'm just curious to know why it couldn't be moved a little bit. Because it's only 1.8 meters, I think we're looking at.
Yes, sure.
So could it be moved? Yes. But as I was trying to explain earlier, we were just trying to make it so that we have a little more usable area, and we feel that we have more usable area between the buildings, and because of the angle of the detached garage compared to the house, it makes it a little awkward. So we felt that if we have more room between the two buildings, it would make it a little easier for vehicle maneuverability. So that's my answer, I guess.
Thank you. Okay. To my far right, Member Standers, do you have any questions or concerns to the planner or the applicant?
Thank you, Chair. I have a comment of all the different applications we receive. This one shows everything we need to know, like the floor plan, the elevations, a site plan. And I can see the measurements that are given on it to no end. There's in the shed itself, there's a mezzanine, like it wasn't as if it was trying to be just sloughed off, that the shed was too big or anything. All those numbers seem to add up to me. And whenever I did a site visit, I seen 4 stakes out in the ground painted bright red to mark out that's exactly where that building is going to go. Like there was no guessing game of, well, it could be here, it could be there. So I really thank the owner and his people and the planner for putting all that together how I like to see it. Whenever I did the site visit, there's a bit of work going on the residential structure there. Pulled in the driveway, and I can see now why they want as much space as they have in their driveway area, because they're right kind of in that main part of that curve. You look this way, you look that way. It's almost makes more sense. So you have that little extra space. You can turn your vehicle around while there's another one parked there in the yard. You can drive out and have a clear sight of line looking down the highway. So I have no problem with this one at all. I just like to thank everybody for putting it together how I like to see it. It seems that detail is really well on this one. Thank you.
And Member Keomo, you have any questions or concerns?
I don't. I think everybody's more or less covered it. Very clear application, and it seems clear to me why you'd want to go with that that setback variation as opposed to the front yard or doing it some other way. This seems to make a lot of sense. So I have no difficulty with this.
Thank you. And for mine, the planner report had indicated that to ensure that this was an accessory structure that is used for personal storage or residential uses, and that it's not for commercial industrial purpose. So I just wanted to confirm that. That's correct? Okay. And then because Mapleton does have a bylaw officer now, so that's now in place. That's nice to see that we've got that. So I don't know if anyone else has any questions or concerns. Do you have something you would like to say? If you don't, that's fine. If you want to sit, that's fine.
Property are ours and Clayton, England. Do you wanna take both properties, or you just gonna take some out of English properties, or does it have to be surveyed?
Are you comfortable answering that question?
Yes.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind going up to the mic and then it'll be there.
Well, I appreciate the question there, David. We're actually not looking to adjust the property, the perimeter of the property. We're just asking if we can have the building closer to the existing property line. So we're actually not moving anything with the property lines. It's just the distance between the building and the property line.
Does that answer your question, sir? Okay. I'll open it up one more time. If anybody has any other questions or concerns before I call a question, put it to the floor. Okay, I do have a recommendation provided for us. And the recommendation is that the minor variance applied for an application A 2023-13 located at Part 3, Concession 14, Maryborough, Part 1 and 2, 60R 2866, and is municipally known as 8614 Wellington Road 7, to provide the following relief as proposed. The interior side yard setback proposed of 1.2 meters, which or 3.9 feet. So anybody have any questions, concerns? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is granted. So please let it be known that the members of the committee were of the opinion that the variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the lands, buildings, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. Yeah, maybe we'll just back up the bus just a little. I need a mover and a seconder. So we'll put that back to the floor again one more time. May I have a mover? Member Doomering. Seconded by Member Keomo. Again, I shall call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is granted. So at this time, the hearing for the minor variance A 2023-13 is now concluded. Thank you for attending the meeting. We'll have circulation of the decision sheet. Yep. Thank you. That's first. I'm good. Hmm? I got everything else. So as the decision sheets are being signed, we, under general business, we have indicated that there's an upcoming hearing on January the 17th, correct? Still? Do we know? Nothing, no applications yet? Okay, perfect. There's still time, right? Oh, it's done now? So our next meeting will be February the 14th. Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah. No. No. That's. Okay, so I believe that concludes our meeting. Time? 4:18.